Good morning, this is Deborah. Once again, we're going to talk a little bit about wild spring plants, the kind that you can forage and use potentially for food or medicine. And today's topic is violets, wild violets. They're coming up in the lawn everywhere. They're coming up in the gardens everywhere. This is the common blue violet in the Viola family, which includes pansies and Johnny jump ups. This little wildflower is everywhere in the spring. By midsummer or later, you'll see some remnants of it, but the flowers are from now for maybe a month or so. And very, very typical violet flower. They spread by rhizomes under the ground. All parts of it on top are edible. The flower and the heart-shaped leaf are both edible in salads in the early spring, as long as you haven't treated your lawn with anything. They make a great lawn because when you're ready to mow, you just mow them and by then the flowers are gone. Around here you can't mow until all the flowers are done. So this common blue violet, it really looks purple. It has a bluish hinge in some soils, and it sometimes is white with little purple stripes that come out from the center of the plant. But these are basically the same plant. There are species variations. We can talk about that later. The violet also is used in herbal medicine in preparations including extractions in glycerin, sometimes in alcohol, but generally speaking to help with sadness. This is a joyful little plant. I'm hoping to have a very happy day. Okay, wild violet, either Viola sororia or Viola odorata. There may be in the literature different botanical names, but this is the common wild violet that occurs here in Connecticut and all over the place. Really in the Northeast, I'm not sure about out west. Violas have lots of other family members, and in fact there's 600 members in the Violaceae family. That doesn't include these guys, and it includes things you can't eat, but these are the ones that are edible. The violet leaves come up from a rhizome that occurs under the ground. The rhizomes keep creating new rhizomes connected to each other under the ground, so you can get a pretty large mass of the rhizomes. And this is April, and we've been seeing the little leaves pop up for a few weeks. The leaves are heart-shaped, smooth, heavily veined, and they do have serration around the edges. These little rhizomes, by the way, can be dug up and moved where you want them. You can have violets anywhere you want. And my goodness, don't they make a beautiful display? These are mini vases, and you can have a mini display in your house if you have enough violets. The stems are quite long on many of them, sometimes short. The flower comes up off a leafless stalk. That's another identification feature. And as you can see, these are very typical petals for a viola. They look a lot like pansies, which, by the way, your common pansy is also edible, as are the Johnny jump ups that you can get in your nurseries. Violets, these wild violets that are growing right now in New England, we use primarily in salads and to just pop up into our mouths as we're walking around outside. However, they do have medicinal value. They are high in vitamin C and vitamin A, primarily in their raw form, but they are known to be antioxidant, anti-inflammatory. They're mucilaginous and have been used in cough and cold formulas for dry coughs, bronchitis. The leaves themselves are made into salves to use for dry skin conditions and eczema. It's not uncommon to make delightful little glycerites, which are simply the flowers that are soaked in glycerin, vegetable glycerin, for a period of time and then used by the dropper, presumably to make people happier and bring joy into your life. They have a history in the literature of being used as a very mild blood purifier, which simply means that they make the liver happy, mild detoxifier. In general, there's many uses. It's very important, of course, if you're taking a look at how to use them medicinally, that you get information from solid sources and multiple sources for sure. When foraging, to make sure you've got the accurate plant ID, it's very important to use foraging books. So I have many books about foraging and about plant ID, but these are some of my favorites on the table. We'll also list those in the comments. There are many reasons to use this beautiful plant in the spring, but if nothing else, have them in your lawn and garden because they're so pretty to look at.